I'm sure everyone remembers the Spongebob episode, Safe Deposit Krabs. The episode when Mr. Krabs gets himself locked in a safe deposit box, unfortunately. Nickelodeon's website had a planned episode from 2003 to 2005. The episode in the website was titled Mr. Krabs Bankruptcy, which was supposed to be Safe Deposit Krabs, which released later in 2013. From October 23rd, 2003 to December 12th, 2005, one of the writers of Nickelodeon accidentally released the episode 1 month before it was planned to be released. The planned release was of October 30th, 2003. It was a quiet afternoon in 2013, right after the removal of the supposed episode of SpongeBob. I was on YouTube and on paint.net, drawing and listening to some dubstep, death metal, and breakcore. Don't ask why I listen to breakcore. I suddenly got a message on DeviantArt from one of my fans of my art named Ratchet Retro, who said this: "Nick's in some deep trouble. Look at 2003 in October." I replied with, "What's going on with Nick?" That's when he hit me with a reply. I was so chilling, my spine actually tingled. SpongeBob's new episode is different. Might want to go check it out. Thanking my friend, I went onto the Wayback Machine and went on Nickelodeon.com, where I placed the timeline to 2003, October. I was in shock on what I saw there. Sitting on the front page was this message, a download link. New SpongeBob episode MP4 download. Check it out here. The link was off. The ad was from AdFly, which was a website shorter. I went to it and my computer began to freak out. One of the worst viruses. The mouse froze, the screen glitched crazily, and then it switched to BSOD. Must be a shady link, I thought to myself. All of a sudden, I heard the mailbox go up, and I got up and checked the mail. For some reason, I got a small package and a note. I checked the note, and it said this: "To whom clicked the link, this is the episode in the disc format. Mr. Lawrence, aka the voice of Plankton." I opened the package and checked the disc, when I noticed that it looked like a burned disc. I went to my backup computer and inserted the disc for about 2 hours of rewinding. I hit play and sat down, curious, on the episode. The theme song played as normal, but as soon as the theme song ended, the seagulls didn't make the normal call. Instead of Steven Hillenburg, it was Paul Tippett, which made me raise an eyebrow. The screen slowly faded in with the blue title card saying Mr. Krabs Bankruptcy. It jump cuts to outside of the Krusty Krab with Mr. Krabs playing with his money bowling. He said to himself and maybe the audience, "Nothing soothes me more than a stack of cash and some cash bowling." As he was about to do it again, SpongeBob burst through the door with a panicked expression. He said, out of breath, Mr. Krabs, you have a letter." Mr. Krabs replied with, "Boy, you need to stop scaring the audience." I rose another eyebrow. Was he talking to us? My question was interrupted when the screen snapped to black and Mr. Krabs screaming. The camera positions to Mr. Krabs' letter. It was from the National Bank of Bikini Bottom. It was saying on how he never paid a single dollar and was going to remove the Krusty Krab in his home for tax evasion. Mr. Krab let out a sigh and went outside his office. He called for SpongeBob and Squidward. He then said, out of the blue, "We're gonna have to shut down the Krusty Krab forever." SpongeBob gasped. Squidward smiled. "Is this true?" Squidward said gleefully. Mr. Krabs nodded as Squidward danced for a second before laughing and running outside comedically. The bubbles came up and showed the Repo Men taking everything from the Krusty Krab and his home, both at the same time before driving off in the distance. It cut to Mr. Krabs' face tearing up as he cried. Out of character, Pearl sat down in the middle of the remains and patted Mr. Krabs' back as she said, "It's gonna be alright." things would get better. I'm sure of it. Mr. Krabs sniffles and sighs. It cuts to a montage of Mr. Krabs' depression, increasing each week as mellow and sad music plays. In the last frame, it shows Mr. Krabs sitting on an apartment bed. It then showed Mr. Krabs reaching into a cabinet nearby. He shuffles through stuff, and then he ends up picking up a butcher knife. He puts the butcher knife close to himself. With one slice, you could hear a crash noise and a scream from Mr. Krabs. The last frame was of Mr. Krabs' one and only $1 bill, now covered in cartoony blood as it slowly faded out and showed credits. I rarely had no reaction, but it was definitely screwed up, so I put the DVD back in the sleeve and placed it somewhere safe and far away. About a few months later, I received a message from one of the writers of SpongeBob, Paul Tibbet, who said, "The person in the beginning is not me. I didn't make the episode."